シャララいつかきっと僕は手にするんだ儚き胸にそっと光燃えてゆけ
Yes, 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 I know. That probably for some of you out there was not the most nostalgic opening because it was part 2. You know, some of you may have expected, why didn't you play opening 3 or opening 5 of the part 1 Naruto or even ending 1? But I played that opening specifically because that's my favorite opening in Shippuden. Opening 5... well, no, actually opening 6, Shalala by Ikemonogakari. Okay, Shalala is not the actual official title, but it is made by Ikemonogakari. So, if you guys want to know about it, look it up. But anyway, yeah, man, this is the Naruto manga 699 and chapter 700 thoughts video. And, man, looking back some years, I can just think about all the different predictions I made with friends about, you know, how Naruto was going to end. Going all the way back to middle school, you know, thinking about talking about it at a lunch table, talking about what we wanted to see before it, you know, came to an end. And now we've reached that point. Naruto is at its end. Now, some of you guys may be happy out there to hear the news that apparently we're getting some sort of Naruto Part 3, or I would say really a mini-series that's going to probably focus on another cast. Hopefully, at least that's what I'm hoping for. I'm kind of skeptical about this whole Part 3 thing. I'll link it down below for those of you who may have not heard the news. I'm pretty sure at this point everyone has heard the news though. But basically, yeah, I mean, I'm hoping that it's not going to end up being like some sort of GT thing. We have no confirmation of who's going to be writing it or handling it. We know we're going to get a couple other different like novels or light novels of like Naruto coming out, or I'm not exactly sure if there are other specials, but we can expect to see a little bit more Naruto. But you know, I'm just skeptical on some of the stuff we do see after this point. If Kishimoto's handling it, you know, I feel a little bit more safe with how the story is being handled because he is the writer. And at the same time, I'm also thinking, guys, I really think the story ended on a good note. Please don't screw it up. Or, you know, I guess you can't technically screw that up, but please don't just pull a GT and drag it out longer than it needs to be. And I know some people are probably yelling at my freaking face right now through the screen because you're already saying it went longer than it needed to be. But you guys who've been following me for a long time already know my opinion on that. But anyway, man, okay. First things first. Oh, one more thing I have to say before I continue on. For those of you guys who are probably wondering what's going to happen with my channel, I'll probably explain the whole thing at the very end of the video, but I will be putting out the last Naruto, the movie prediction, probably in the next few days after I do my Yumicon video. So again, I'll explain all that at the end of the video once I'm finished talking about the chapters. There's not really going to be probably a whole bunch of structure to these you know, or I should say this video when I'm talking about this chapter. So if you haven't read the chapter yet, or the chapters I should say, make sure you do it right now. Don't expect for me to summarize everything for you. You know, just let everybody know. And at this point, everybody probably has or should have seen the chapters for themselves. Okay, now let's jump into this. All right, now, at first, looking at this, when I woke up in the morning, I had to make sure I got ready. I got my meal all set. I sat down and I pulled up the chapter. First page, of course, that we see come up. It's supposed to be color, or at least it was a color page. You see like the whole Naruto, Sasuke laying on the hands of the first Hokage and Madara, of course. And we see the seal of consolement, I think, or consignment, or I forgot exactly the name for it, but you guys know what I'm talking about with this. And you know what? I forgot to put the Naruto headband on. How did I forget that? I can't not do the last Naruto video without putting out the Naruto headband. It may be the most cliche thing in the world, but it has to be done. Okay, anyway. Of course, we see the whole the seal of concealment thing. And when I see that, I automatically knew. I was like, okay, I had basically predicted that that was going to happen long ago, something with that. Now, what I expected to see, or at least thought we would have saw in both of these chapters, is like a statue, or at least replacements for Naruto and Sasuke at the Valley of the End, like showing them, you know, obviously, you know, mounted there for their great battle. And instead of having them do this, that we would see this. But we didn't get that in either one of the chapters, obviously. But right after that, of course, we see Sakura. She jumps down and she runs over to Naruto and Sasuke. And, you know, of course, you know, Sasuke, you know, he and Naruto, they're out of it. They're not really doing anything. Sakura instantly starts healing them. And then we have Sasuke basically go on to actually thank Sakura. You know, or not thank her automatically, but he went straight into apologize to her, my fault. And then we had him actually thank her for all the things that she's done. Of course, she acts a little annoyed, or like she's a little pissed, but ultimately she's happy. You have Kakashi. He looks like he's happy to see the team is finally back together. You see them all laughing together, and then you see Kakashi pull his headband down, which actually did not make any sense when I saw that, because I'm like, for what purpose at this point, Kakashi, are you doing this when you don't even freaking have like a freaking Sharingan anymore? So I mean, there was really no reason to do that, but I guess Kishimoto may have did that more for the symbolism, or you know, that things have finally returned to normal. You know, that like everything is back to the way it should be. You know, which is nice to see them all laugh once again, and you see like a little panel of Team 7 when they first started and Kakashi walked in the room. You know, so that was really touching, but it's also sad for us fans to know that everything is done. Now, of course, from that point on, we have Sasuke pretty much narrate the rest of the chapter, which I actually thought was a nice touch. I mean, he did it in the previous chapter, and I feel like Sasuke narrating through, you know, most of this finale has actually been a good way to end it, considering the fact that we never saw Sasuke narrate anything before. Really, we never saw much into his head, for that matter, before, other than what he maybe said or did. So knowing exactly what Sasuke was thinking and to get his perspective on everything, you know, is I think, you know, a really good move for the writer to actually make, you know. Now, one thing that I know Sasuke ends up saying is that, you know, all those years ago when Naruto basically said, you know, like, I wonder, this is what it feels like to have a brother. Sasuke states he actually finally understands what that, you know, I guess the feeling that Naruto got from that. Which at first it kind of took me off a little bit, because I was thinking, well, Sasuke, you should get that because you have a brother. But it was more like in a different way, that maybe he sees Naruto that way. You know, now that everything has basically, you know, ended up the way that it has. I mean, he even goes on to further explain, like, throughout the chapter, that Naruto had every reason to hate him for what he did. You know, in fact, he should have. But at the end of the day, Naruto didn't. You know, Naruto never gave up on him. And he sort of says the same thing in the previous chapter, but him kind of going over it again kind of, to me, drives more for the emotional impact. You, of course, see everybody basically getting freed from Infinite Tsukuyomi. You see Naruto and, after Naruto and Sasuke make the hand seal together. And I have to say, that whole panel with the art, I thought that was really nice and detailed. You know, just seeing them finally join together, yin and yang, you know, to break everyone free. I know we saw Darui free Samui and Atsui, which I was kind of surprised, because I'm like, okay, after all this time where they got sucked up, you know, by that gourd, and if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, basically the people that got sucked up by Kinkaku and Genkaku, or they got beat by Kinkaku and Genkaku, I'm thinking, like, at this point, I wouldn't expect for them to be getting free from anything, because I remember all the stuff that happened with those gourds. Like, I mean, remember that freaking got eaten by the Jubi, Madara freaking ended up spitting it out, but I'm thinking, like, he used the chakra from it, so I'm surprised that through all of that, they were able to actually live through that experience. I don't know, it's kind of weird, but I really think that the, you know, as far as seeing everybody get free, I thought that was really a nice touch while Sasuke narrated through it. And you see the Nine Tails, you know, he breaks free. from the Chibaku Tensei after Sasuke releases it. He's looking at Naruto, Naruto smiling at him. And, you know, we continue to go through the chapter, obviously. I think probably the nice thing that I liked about, or one of the things I love that was said in the chapter was when we get back to Konoha. And that's when we see Kakashi, Sasuke, and Sakura standing at the front of the village gate. And Kakashi lets him know, like, look, man, you know, let it be known that the only reason why you're even free to go, the only reason why you're not sitting in Konoha prison right now is because, one, you broke Infinite Tsukuyomi. You were needed for that. And two, me and Naruto bailed you out. Me as the new Hokage, which I have to say, if I were to give a rating, I kind of would have to minus sort of a point from this chapter in the sense that Kakashi just randomly becomes Hokage. We don't get any explanation on that. I mean, it's almost as if Obito just says it and it happens. You know, I mean, I understand. I can maybe get it a little bit before when Kakashi had the Sharingan. But to me, I'm like, okay, Kakashi may provide, he may have strategy. You may even say he has maturity. But one of the things that you need for a Hokage is you need the power to be able to protect the village. And before, I think he may have been able to make that argument. People could have made that case. Now, I don't see where the case is at because technically speaking, Raikiri isn't even effective anymore. It probably is, but like, you know, in a sense that probably if they showcase it, they're probably not going to actually go based on the rule that it's supposed to use. But from what was said earlier on in the series, in order to use Raikiri, you need the Sharingan to work in conjunction with it in order for it to be a successful move. Minato, you know, or the reason why Kakashi actually completed the Chidori or Raikiri was mainly because of the Sharingan, and he needed it in order to be able to strike an effective blow. So, I don't know. I don't really see how Kakashi's that effective anymore, but he's the Hokage. But when he got into Sasuke and, you know, said all that, of course, Sasuke, he's all apologetic now. You know, he's, I guess, basically trying to atone for what he did, and he tells them that he's going to go ahead and set on out. So, of course, Sakura says the craziest thing in the world, you know, can I come with you? I'm like, what? Like, Sakura, no. You do not need to go with Sasuke-kun because Sasuke-kun has attempted to kill you several times. That's the one pairing I feel like should have never happened. It should never happen. I mean, and I'm not even talking about because of Sasuke. I mean, of course, Sasuke's done all this crazy stuff, but I feel like Sakura should not want to be with Sasuke because Sasuke has done nothing but crap. I understand forgiving people. I think you should always forgive people for the things they do, no matter how horrendous it. You know, I mean, I feel like a person always should at least get that much. Even as hard as it is, there's no point in holding on to hate, in my opinion. But as far as like her actually wanting to be with him, I'm like, Sakura, no. I could have accepted y'all just being cool with each other at the end, not, you know, actually you're still trying to pursue a romantic interest with them. And the man even told you he wasn't interested. But apparently that wasn't the case. You know, because we all know what comes next in the following chapter. But, you know, of course, Sasuke, he doesn't just straight up reject her. He takes it a little bit different this time. And he says, you know, no, I have things I have to do. You know, this journey is more for me. And he does a move like he did on his brother. And he pokes her on the forehead. Or, what do I mean? He did that on his brother. His brother did on him. My fault, Itachi fans. And once he pokes her on the forehead, he says he'll see her when he gets back. So that already let us know right there. Confirmation, Sasu Saku. And I'm at that point like, okay, you know, she shouldn't be with him. This would be a freaking, you know, abusive relationship. Like, I don't know what, man. This would be like some Chris Brown, Rihanna type stuff. But, you know, we'll just leave it at that. So, of course, Sasuke proceeds to walk. He sees Naruto, and Naruto's just kind of leaned up against the tree, just chilling, you know, well, not crossing his arms, obviously, because he only had one arm. And we get a little bit more narration from Sasuke, basically elaborating again, you know, Naruto went through all this for him, even going as far as to lose an arm. And that, you know, the fact that if they were able to come to understand one another, then, you know, there's hope for others to be able to do that, you know, even though it may get harder along the way. And of course, Naruto puts out his hand, and you can't actually see it if I remember correctly from the panel immediately. But then Sasuke, of course, or Naruto says, "I'm giving this back to you," and Sasuke's like, "Okay, I'll accept it." And then you see, of course, the two guys smile at each other, and then of course Sasuke grabs it, and we see it's Sasuke's headband from part 1. Right there, I'm just like, well, one, I remember that used to be in filler that Naruto held on to Sasuke's headband, because they never actually showed that in the manga from what I remember. So I liked that that aspect actually was implemented into the story, that he held it all these years to be able to give back to him as a Konoha shinobi. And I don't know, I thought that was I felt like that was really a good way to kind of end off things, between Naruto and Sasuke. Even though Sasuke said they're still working out their differences and stuff, they used to fight all the time, but now, obviously they're working together, and everything, is coming, I guess, full circle with them, and, of course, like we said, or at least how everybody knows, they've been rivals since the beginning of the series, always going back and forth, but finally there's some peace between them, showing that the whole Indra Ashura thing is done, and that Sasuke is now a Konoha shinobi again. So I felt like, in terms of, I'm going to technically call that the ending of part 2, that was definitely a fitting ending, seeing everything that Naruto went through from Sasuke. Sasuke not only gets it, he's not only come to understand Naruto even more now, but, I almost want to say he's basically pulling a Jiraiya now. He's going on the search and the path to find truth in order to find peace for the world. So I kind of have a thing I have to say, but I'll wait to the end of the video for it. Now, right after that, of course, we get chapter 700, which is completely in color. And I have to say, I definitely liked how everything was drawn in that chapter. Everything looked fresh and new. I can see Kishimoto put a lot of work into the designs. Of course, the first thing we see is, of course, I think the Konoha door. Then we see Shino, actually. And what is Shino doing now? Well, I guess you could technically say he's not hiding behind things anymore. He's not, everybody should at least know him now, because Shino is the teacher of the Ninja Academy. So Iruka, his days are done. He's no longer doing that. And of course, we see a kid in the classroom with blonde hair. And guess who that is? Naruto's son, Bolt. And Bolt, he's basically acts just like Naruto. As soon as Shino says the class is done, we see Bolt jump up in the air, excited as I don't know what, ready to go. And he's talking about doing a prank. And then you have Shikamaru's kid, Shikadai, I believe it was. And of course, he's, differs with Bolt on that. He's just like, no, the 5 Kage summit is going on right now. Why would you do something like that? Bolt is like, I don't care. That's why, I want to do it, just because of that. So, yeah, he's just like Shikadai and I'm not saying Naruto. Bolt or Baruto are just like their parents. You can obviously tell, not just in appearance, but, in their behaviors. And we see the other Konoha 11 too. I did not expect to see Choji's kid. I didn't even know it was his kid for a minute. I'm like, oh man, Choji had black babies. Okay, Choji, okay. But anyway, we see Anko. Anko picked up some weight. Fast forwarding past that part, I know we end up seeing we see Tamari. Tamari, she's pretty much just seems like she's at home, housewife in Konoha, so obviously she moved. Gaara's visiting. He's obviously, actually like Gaara's new design. He looks pretty much the same, but his hair is a little bit different. I think his hair is actually better than what they made for the last Naruto the movie when it's all spiked up. I think him kind of having it slicked around his head, looks not only more mature, but then, it's not a bad look for Gaara. So that was pretty cool. And I know we also got a chance, I'm not exactly sure if it was in this order, but I know we saw Kiba as well in the chat. Oh no, we saw Tenten and Lee. I'm just going to go through all the Konoha 11. I don't even remember the whole order with them. But with Tenten, she's not doing crap, basically. Tenten's just sitting in the shop. Her weapons are collecting dust because it's been peace, which is a good thing. Pain would be proud. Of course, we have Rock Lee. He's still doing his thing. He's actually even has a student now, you know, which we saw, you know, tagging along behind him. Rock Lee looks jacked, though, which I'm happy because we all know Rock Lee has the whole springtime of youth thing going on. So it's good to see that, you know, he's still keeping that up and, you know, the name of Guy. And then after that, I believe we saw, or actually I think it was before that, Hinata, and we saw a little girl, I think her name was Himawari, I believe, Himawari. And you see, obviously, she has blue hair, but then she has the whiskers. So automatically right there we know, Naruto and Hinata got together. We already probably assumed that if you've seen the last Naruto, the movie trailer. But, you know, now we pretty much have confirmation that Naruto got with Hinata. Now it's just a matter of what was the convincing factor. What made Naruto finally go through with being with Hinata? Because we never actually seen it. And if we go based on what happened up until the end of the war, I mean, Naruto never even addressed, from what we saw, the whole Naruto versus Pain thing when Hinata jumped out there and she said she loves him. We never saw anything from that. And then again, there's a possibility that maybe Naruto did say something, but we hadn't seen it yet. So we had to just wait for the movie for that one. But anyway, we see Hinata, we see what's going on with her, obviously, and that's the only thing we see of her in the chapter. And then after that, I believe, after seeing those two, I know we saw Kiba. Kiba is now with the granddaughter of the cat lady. I don't know if anybody remembers who I'm talking about, but basically the cat person that Sasuke would sometimes go to for ninja weapons. When he'd be walking through towns. I don't remember the name of the cat lady, but basically, yeah, she was the granddaughter of that. And it makes sense that Kiba technically, well, I'm not going to say it makes sense, but it's kind of cool that they kind of made use of her character and made someone who has cats be with, you know, Kiba, who has, obviously, a dog, and, you know, his whole clan focuses on that. I felt so bad for freaking Akamaru. Man, he looks like he's done. Like, Kiba looks beast, but Akamaru looks like he's like, man, this is my last days, man. I can't do it no more. I just can't. You know, so Kiba's still trying to hype up Akamaru like, oh, his fangs are hidden. I'm like, nah, man. I'm like, he's done. Like, there's no way he's about to get up and be fighting anymore like that. But, you know, of course, you know, at least we get to see him. I don't even know how he's actually still alive now that I think about it. Seeing as how I think Kiba had Akamaru since he was like freaking 5, and Kiba looks like he's like 30 now, so freaking Akamaru should technically be dead, but, you know, hey, it's a fiction. Now, after that part, I believe, I think we also got a chance to, I know we got some scenes with Baruto and this little girl basically tracking him through the town. Now, who can we all guess that is? Well, it's none other than Sasuke's kid, you know, and I believe her name was Sarada. You know, so she's basically tracking Baruto through the town, following him, sort of on some Hinata type stuff, but, you know, not exactly, you know, and then I believe after that we ended up seeing, I think we got a flash over to Naruto, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, no, we saw the 5 Kages. The 5 Kages, we see Onoki. He looks old as crap. He looks terrible, in my opinion. Mizukage, she picked up some weight, but she doesn't look half bad, in my opinion, you know. But it kind of sucks the fact that, you know, she never actually got her man. Like, her whole character, all the entire time that we've known the Mizukage, which isn't much because, I mean, we only got to know her like the last 2 arcs of the series, but, you know, she wanted to be married so bad, you know, and I'm like, I'm surprised Chojito never got with her. I mean, granted, yeah, he was a teenager when she was Mizukage, but I'm thinking like, hey, I mean, they could make something happen now. Just saying, if he wanted to. You know, he was crushing on her mad hard, if anybody remembers from before. But yeah, like, Tsunade pretty much says it's too late for them, which is definitely too late for Tsunade. I mean, Tsunade is freaking old as crap, and she just doesn't look it. Then I know everybody, I loved hearing the town basically hyping up, I'm just going to say, the 7th Hokage, hyping him up. Like, we saw Asuma's kid. Asuma's kid looked beast. You know, in my opinion, excellent design, perfect fusion between Kurenai and Awesome, in my opinion. It didn't look like it was forced or anything like that. And I know Asuma's kid talked about basically going to protect Kakashi, the sixth Hokage. We get a flash over Kakashi and Guy. They're obviously talking amongst each other. And Kakashi, he basically, you know, he feels like Naruto's good to go because Guy is a little bit concerned if Naruto's going to do all right. Guy is straight up in a wheelchair, messed up, foot messed up and everything. You know, like, he's pretty much done. His youth days are definitely done. So, yeah, Lee has to take it up. Lee is a sensei now. Like I said, awesome. Now, to get to the last little bits of this video, we get over to the part where we see the 7th Hokage's office. And we see Shikamaru in there. Obviously, he's like, yo, we need to hurry up because we're having the 5 Kage summon in the village today. You need to, you know, get done with whatever you're doing. And you have Miyogi and Udon. They come in the room, and he's pretty much like, we ain't got time for this. You see Naruto on a computer, so you can tell the village has gotten a bit more high-tech. Because, I mean, they've had, like, technology before. Like, they had phones in Naruto. They had TVs and stuff, but it's evident that they're pushing the technology at the end of this chapter. I mean, you're seeing more than you ever did. So, of course, yeah, Naruto is the 7th Hokage. We see him sitting at the desk. You know, you already know it's him. You see the yellow hair, you know, and after that point, they get up, and they tell Naruto that basically, you know, something's happening outside the monuments, and then he's like, let me guess. Naruto goes out there, he sees who's doing what, and it was so nostalgic to see the paint on the statues, to know that it's Naruto's son, the one doing it. Naruto gets an attitude, of course, although I'm thinking in my head, can you really get mad at what just happened, considering the fact that all the stuff that she used to do as a kid? I mean, in fact, I actually thought Naruto was going to actually be like, you know, react a little bit differently. Like, oh, I thought that, like, maybe laugh at it or think it's kind of funny or something like that. But no, Naruto was straight up pissed. He hits his son in the head, and, you know, his son does it because he wants the attention from his father. Which I kind of, I can make a whole nother video on that, you know, just from that little bit on what I think they should do with the part 3 of Naruto. But yeah, he hits him in the head, and he basically tells him, like, you know, the village is my family. You know, it sometimes means that I can't just be only your dad, but, you know, you're a ninja. You know, ninjas are supposed to endure, you know, like, so I know you can do it, right? You know, and he puts his hand on his son's head. You know, he kind of looks up at Naruto, you know, which was sort of like meant to be a touching moment, but again, I can dive into it a little bit more at the end of this video. I think we get a flash of Sakura and Sarada after that, and, you know, she's complaining about, you know, obviously Bolts or Boruto, and after that point, we get a flash of Sasuke, because she makes a comparison and basically says that they both share the same pain, which I'm like, oh my goodness, the new Naruto and Sasuke of the new generation, except something can actually go somewhere with this. But again, I'll get to that in a few minutes. And after that point, we have, we see Sasuke. Sasuke straight up looks like Madara, just saying. Not even going to dive in deep into it. After that, I believe we get a flash over back to the 5 Kage Summit. Everybody's sitting around the table. I don't even get why they have freaking bodyguards at this point, because I'm like, okay. If Naruto just literally came up in there and said, okay, I'm running this place now. Like, I mean, there's nothing they can do. I mean, what's Gaara going to do with his sand? What is freaking, you know, Darui going to do, or any of the rest of them? I mean, they could have gotten stronger, but I'm thinking, like, unless y'all are at freaking Sage of the 6 Paths levels, y'all aren't about to freaking run Naruto. Like, it's just not happening. You know, at least not at this point. I mean, freaking Abiju Dama is freaking too much for half of y'all anyway. But, of course, you know, they finally are like, oh, you're finally here. You know, who takes forever to come, you know, when we're in your village, and then you have Naruto walk in. And, you know, they're like, oh, you know, Gaara's like, okay, well, let's get down to business. Hokage. And at that moment, I'm just like, oh, man, fitting in. And then you see the Hokage monument. You see Naruto's face on it. You see, actually, Oda played a tribute to Kishimoto in One Piece. sending them out because all the mangakas put their own little notes for Naruto at the end in case, or to play tribute to Naruto ending. For those of you who don't know, so Kishimoto, because of Oda's tribute that he played for him and calling him his rival and all that, actually kind of played a tribute to One Piece at the end of the Naruto chapter. And I thought I was seeing something when I actually saw this, but yeah, you see Luffy's Jolly Roger on the Naruto monument, which I thought was pretty cool. But yeah, you see obviously Naruto's face on there, and then you see a big city all in the distance. So you're thinking, okay, yeah, Konoha's really been coming up with something. It kind of makes me wonder what the villagers have been working on together, like building some kind of town or something. Because Naruto did say he had an idea that he needed everybody to work on together with him. And then you have Kurama just sleeping, and then that was the end. And then basically, you get this page, I believe, where it talks about, basically reinstates everything that we knew, like when you read the first chapter of Naruto about Naruto being the boy, who had the Naruto sealed in him. But instead elaborates that Naruto, together worked with the Fox in order to stop the Jubi and eventually became the 7th Hokage. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was the end of Naruto. Now, I rambled a lot in this video, so some of you may actually not have been able to sit through all that, which if you didn't, I understand. I'm not complaining at all. But I just had to say everything that I thought at that moment. Now, one thing I have to say about the Bolt and Sarada thing, well, first off, freaking Sarada looks like Karin. They could actually go some ways with that if they wanted to do it for the miniseries. Like, for one, they could make it to where Karin and Sasuke had a thing and freaking Karin died. And basically, Sarada was left as a baby, so Sasuke dropped her off in the village and Sakura raised her. I think that'd actually be pretty cool. They may not go that route with it, but, I think it'd be interesting. It kind of be like, okay, Sasuke technically got with both of the pairings. But, aside from that, I think that, as far as the whole Boruto thing and Sarada, I definitely think that I don't know how far they'll go in the miniseries or how old they'll be, but there's potential for a romantic relationship there because, people always would talk about the whole Naruto Sasuke thing, oh man, this, and this, like people talk about how gay it was or whatnot. But I'm like, hey, if they want to turn this into something, they actually can, have these two characters get together and, be pretty interesting too, especially since their fathers are like best friends and they fought each other all this time. And it kind of makes me also think too, like, how do they not know, who each other is? But then again, I guess their fathers are never around, so they would never know their fathers are close friends. Naruto and Sasuke are bad fathers. I'm just going to throw that out there. I understand Naruto is busy, but he has no excuse not to spend time with his son. He freaking has shadow clones. He has shadow clones. He can easily, okay, make a clone. Son, you want to hang out? I'll go hang out with you. My clones will do the work, while I'm here. To me, it's a simple solution. Naruto's the king of clones. And it's not like you can say his clones are going to freaking just blow up just like that, because Naruto, we know sometimes he can make some sturdy clones. And if it comes down to it, freaking make a chakra mode clone and have it hang out, and do your work or whatnot. That way you don't have to worry about it blowing up just on the instance. Just saying. So I don't know. As far as my thoughts on the finale, you already know. I loved it. I didn't have too many complaints. The only real complaint that I had was the whole Sakura and Sasuke